Is the India Alliance story all but over? The Shiv Sena Thackeray group today released a list of candidates that the Congress described to be a unilateral move. Mamata Banerjee has already done this in West Bengal. Arvind Kejriwal is in jail. And the BJP has released a new political ad that taunts the opposition coalition that grandly called itself the India Alliance. I'm Barkha Dutt, you're with the Mojo Story. A new political advertisement, which goes by the name Main Hi Dulha Hoon, basically pokes fun at the absence of one cogent prime ministerial contender for the opposition coalition. The advertisement that was released is a little over 2 minutes long and is satirical in nature, but it in fact exposes the fault lines within the opposition coalition and focuses on how everyone in the opposition coalition has prime ministerial aspirations and everyone is basically on their own trip. At a time when the Delhi chief minister is in custody, and at a time when prominent faces of the opposition like Mahua Moitra are also in the crosshairs of investigative agencies, has the opposition failed to stitch a cohesive counter-narrative, a counter-leader, and now even a counter-coalition? It should be said that the BJP was hopeful of two coalitions that have not come through either. One in Odisha with Naveen Patnaik and the other in Punjab with the Akali Dal. All of this as the new list of the BJP candidates reveals interesting absences, not just that of General V.K. Singh, whose image you just saw, but also interestingly of Varun Gandhi. Though his mother, Maneka Gandhi, continues to be a candidate, there are all kinds of tongues wagging about where Varun Gandhi might be headed. And remember, you're possibly looking at an Uttar Pradesh election where no second-generation Gandhi leader on either side of the political camp, Varun, Priyanka, or Rahul, might be in the fray. So a lot to talk about. Let's introduce our guests on the program today. We'll update you if there's an update from the Delhi High Court on the Kejriwal petition. But in the meantime, welcoming to the program Sandeep Ghosh, who I love to introduce as a contrarian supporter of the Prime Minister, a supporter with caveats, and his Twitter timeline is very interesting today on the BJP's political advertisements. Ghanshyam Tiwari, leader of the Samajwadi Party, is with us. The Samajwadi Party and the Congress finally reached some understanding in UP, but the same just cannot be said about the rest of the coalition. Ashwini Shahi, senior leader of the BJP, is with us. Welcome back to the program, Ashwini ji. Tehseen Poonawala, a Congress supporter, but scathing commentary today on the Shiv Sena's decision to go what the Congress is calling unilateral, is with us. Welcome, Tehseen. And Rahul Dev, senior journalist, is with us. Before I get comments from all of you, I think it's worth seeing the advertisement in full with the sound up. I'm sure you all have seen little snippets of it. You may think the BJP is being mean, but when have elections ever been kind to anybody? And in some ways, the BJP is probably really getting to the heart of the matter, the absence of a cohesive opposition coalition. Take a look at this latest ad called Main Hi Dulha Hoon.
ये सब आपके रिश्तेदार हैं?
बिजनेस पार्टनर है जी। ये दीदी बंगाल में बिजनेस संभालती हैं, वो चाचा बिहार में, ये यूपी में, ये मुंबई में और ये चेन्नई में, और इन्होंने हाल ही में खोली है दुकान दिल्ली में। पूरे देश में बिजनेस फैला है जी, सब कमाते हैं और मेरी बात तो खाते हैं।
ये इंडियन चीज है, चाइनीज नहीं।
दूल्हे तो आप ही हो ना?
और कौन होगा जी? देखिए, दादी का दिया हुआ सब कुछ है, सरनेम है, दौलत है, शोहरत है, इज्जत है, मतलब मिल जाएगी शादी के बाद जी।
हेलो, दूल्हा कौन होगा ये डिसाइड नहीं हुआ है अब तक। दूल्हा हम बनेंगे, इज्जत की कोई कमी नहीं है।
ए भाई, तुम तो रहने ही दो, हमारी दुकान इनसे काफी बड़ी है। दूल्हा तो हम ही बनेंगे, है ना पापा? पापा, पापा।
सब बुर्बक, इसको तो हम बिहार में दूल्हा बना देंगे, लेकिन यहाँ पे दूल्हा हम ही बनेंगे।
ओ काका, सारी शादियाँ क्या आपके ही घर में होगी क्या? और हम क्या यहाँ यूं ही दुकान खोल के बैठे हैं क्या?
ओ भाई, पिछली बार भी किसी दूसरे की बारात पे दूल्हा बन गए थे आप।
इस बार आपकी दुकान भी आपके नाम से नहीं है।
अरे रुको 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 रुको, इसके बारे में हम बाद में बात करेंगे।
ओ दादा, दूल्हा तो इनके मैनेजर ही बनेगी।
हाँ, दूल्हा तो छोटे बाबा ही बनेंगे।
क्या? It's absolutely right.
1 second. Why not me?
वही बोल रहा हूँ, हम क्यों नहीं बन सकते?
ये दूल्हा नहीं, दूल्हा हम बनेंगे।
आणि माझं काय? मैं बनूंगा दूल्हा।
अरे दूल्हा मैं बनूंगा।
घर का टेंशन मत लो अंकल, शादी के बाद तो घर हमारा ही होगा ना।
आपको लगता है ये अपने बीच दूल्हा चुन सकते हैं? तो प्रधानमंत्री कैसे चुनेंगे? खानदानी लुटेरों की कोशिश होगी बेकार, अब की बार 400।
Okay, the clear messaging of that ad is the absence of a prime ministerial face, but many prime ministerial ambitions. Tehseen, did you have a laugh? Did you have a laugh despite the fact that it's poking a lot of fun on Mr. Gandhi? And do you think it gets to a kind of essential truth, Tehseen? And the truth being that parties are acting on their own trip, whether it's the Shiv Sena Thackeray faction, whether it's the left in Kerala, whether it is Mamata Banerjee in Bengal, and the Congress has been literally left quite high and dry, and you know, the BJP is entitled to make fun of that.
Yeah, in politics, humor plays a very important role, and we've seen some of the great orators. They use humor very effectively to communicate their point of view. So if you can use humor in politics, if you can if you can laugh at even something is your shortcoming, it's a very effective tool of communication, and nobody knows this better than Barkha, you sitting here. Vice versa, if you've done some mistake, or if I've done some mistake and I'm in politics, I would like to use humor to poke fun at myself. Shah Rukh Khan does that brilliantly. He pokes fun at himself all the time. The Wankhede incident where he said, "Mujhe to watchman ne baar nikal diya." You know, so you make fun, so it takes the sting away from somebody else doing it at you. So this is a very intelligent game, and we know that the BJP is very good at it. Again, not a fan of the BJP. I'm going to get trolled. People will say I'm a Sanghi, all of that. But look, all of it is coming true. The BJP is going to play at their strengths. Even Prime Minister Modi in Parliament in his speeches uses a lot of humor to mock fun at the opposition. For he example used it at Kharge ji. He said, "Ab to Kharge ji bhi keh rahe 400 par." But what has the opposition done? The opposition has not been able to strike a chord, except for Uttar Pradesh, where credit to Akhilesh Yadav, and I'm saying this because clearly the Congress in charge of Uttar Pradesh was giving bites sitting in a 5-star hotel bed. That's how he was giving bites. Akhilesh Yadav and Congress and Priyanka, they managed to salvage Uttar Pradesh. The rest of it, and Tamil Nadu is salvaged. The rest of it has been not very bright for the India Alliance, and this is truthful. I have repeatedly been coming on your show. My state of Maharashtra, where the Congress was born, my city of Mumbai, where the Congress had its first rally when Pune had a plague. Today, Shiv Sena simultaneously, like Afzal Khan, backstabs and announces seats. Shiv Sena, and I've said this on your show, lost its symbol, lost the party name. The chief minister, the honorable chief minister then, had no clue that his MLAs were being taken off by his police. He resigns on Facebook, and they decide to do this to the Congress, which is the strongest party in Maharashtra. And if the Congress, I am saying this to you on your show, Barkha, if the Congress continues in this alliance only for the sake of defeating BJP, 5 years from now when I'm on your show, the Congress in Maharashtra will be reduced to what the Congress is in Uttar Pradesh. You know what? You know what the Congress...
Hang on. You said the Shiv Sena is like Afzal Khan. We are talking about the Thackeray group. Do you believe the Congress
that Thackeray group.
Do you believe the Congress should walk out of the India Alliance?
Or the Shiv Sena should take its decision back. No disrespect. People of Maharashtra, my state, don't take disrespect. My state of Congress, its tallest leader was Lokmanya Tilak. When the British told him 5 rupees and we won't charge you on the sedition charge, Jinnah was his lawyer, incidentally. He says, Swaraj is my birthright, I shall have it. Put me under sedition. He took sedition. That's my Maharashtra. That's my Congress. You don't compromise. Not with these people. They don't have a party. They don't have a symbol. How dare they? Who's stronger in Mumbai? Shiv Sena or Congress? Thane may be a different game. Who's stronger in Sangli? What is Shiv Sena's claim in Sangli? Who is their leader? Tell me 5 corporators of Shiv Sena in Sangli. Who are they? Vasant Patil, Pratik Patil, Vishwajit Kadam, Patangrao Kadam. It's a Congress seat. Who is Shiv Sena Uddhav Thackeray group? What have they got to do in Sangli? How they come in Sangli? This is ridiculous. I am actually appalled at their behavior. I am not surprised because I told you this on your show. They will do it, and I know that they will do it. And this is not the first time they've done it. Sanjay Raut comes, sticks up to the Congress High Command, insults the state leadership. He'll act all goody. This is all a charade that they put up.
So you're saying the Congress should leave the India Alliance, because I don't see the Shiv Sena taking.
No, they should. The Congress should not leave the India Alliance. The Shiv Sena should take its candidates back, or the Shiv Sena should
use that. If the Shiv Sena does not take its decision back, the Congress should leave the alliance.
Then Congress should file its candidates. If Sharad Pawar sahab wants to come with us, come. You saw what Prakash Ambedkar did today, and I knew he was going to do it. That also I've told you. This is the Congress has to realize. Don't get scared. क्या होगा? BJP जीतेगी ना? ठीक है. You are the strongest party in the state. Don't give in to these guys. Who's weakened the Congress all these years? Sharad Pawar. You think today Ajit Pawar is doing to Sharad Pawar everything Sharad Pawar ji is done to the Congress. Everything. Today I feel extremely bad at Supriya's in a difficult situation in Baramati. But this, Sharad Pawar ji never stopped when Ajit Pawar was doing this to the Congress. He never stopped him.
अब सवाल ये है that if a Congress supporter is so disillusioned with the India Alliance, तो बाकी लोग क्या कहेंगे? उस पे मैं
No, India Alliance is fine. These guys and the left loonies in Kerala.
तीन तो आपने बोल दिए ना, ममता left and Shiv Sena. There's 3 entities of the India Alliance. They're seen.
Yeah, so again in Kerala, why was D. Raja's wife fielded? And D. Raja, when he comes to Delhi, I'm again repeating, 4 people he won't be able to get a crowd with him. 4. If he gets 4, I will change. 4 people won't come with him. And he hangs around, who all his pictures will be standing next to Rahul ji or top leaders of the Congress, whereas Congress leaders are not standing. These people have to be told the Congress is a strong organization. And if that makes me feel, if somebody thinks I am pro BJP, no, I am pro Congress. But how long can we depend on others? A reasonable compromise is reached in Uttar Pradesh because there are 2 reasonable people, Priyanka Gandhi and Akhilesh Yadav. So you could reach a reasonable reason. But what is this?
I'll come to Ghanshyam in just a moment, because they're saying, you may say India Alliance is fine, but you've said 3 entities at least in it have acted unilaterally and gone against the spirit of the opposition coalition. Let me bring in Ashwini ji. Ashwini ji, BJP ने ऐड तो निकाला, हम लोग सब हंसे भी, और हंसना भी चाहिए राजनीति में, लेकिन आपके भी 2 प्रदेश में बहुत सुना था कि कोलिशन होने वाली है, राइट? पंजाब और उड़ीसा. बल्कि उड़ीसा में तो ये बात भी आ गई थी कि भाई सीट शेयरिंग की बस डिटेल्स बाकी है. अब अनाउंसमेंट दोनों ही प्रदेशों में आ गई है कि भाजपा अकेले लड़ रही है. दूसरी तरफ उत्तर प्रदेश है, वहां जो आपका प्रदेश है, वहां पे समाजवादी पार्टी और कांग्रेस का कुछ रिश्ता हो गया है. वहां पे आपके जो एक बड़े गांधी लीडर थे, 2nd जनरेशन के वरुण गांधी, वो लिस्ट से गायब है. तो ठीक है, बीजेपी मजे तो ले रही है, पर ये तो नहीं है कि आपकी संगठन में, आपके एनडीए में प्रॉब्लम्स नहीं है.
बरखा जी, देखिए, जो अभी आपने दिखाया कोई मजे लेने की बात नहीं है, वो सच्चाई है, और उस सच्चाई पर अभी तहसीन जी ने एक मुहर लगा दिया. उसको इन्होंने मान लिया इस तरीके से. और हम लोग, वो सच है, हम लोग आज से नहीं, जब से ये इंडिया अलायंस का गठन हुआ है उसके पहले से, पहली बैठक के बाद से हम लोग कह रहे थे कि ये सारे भ्रष्टाचारी अपने भ्रष्टाचार और अपने अस्तित्व को बचाने के लिए एक हो रहे हैं. और यही याद कीजिए, ये लगभग सभी लोग भ्रष्टाचारी हैं जो सुप्रीम कोर्ट गए थे ये कहते हुए कि ये ईडी और सीबीआई हमको परेशान कर रही है, वहां से सुप्रीम तमाचा पड़ा था, वापस आए थे. ये वही सारे दूल्हे हैं. हम लोग कहते थे कि दूल्हा कौन बनेगा, बिना दूल्हे के बारात नहीं होती है. अब राहुल गांधी जी को दूल्हा मानने के लिए कोई तैयार नहीं. अरविंद केजरीवाल जी दूल्हा बनते बनते जेल चले गए. कहानी किस तरीके से अभी तहसीन भाई ने महाराष्ट्र की बताई. उत्तर प्रदेश में आज देखिए क्या स्थिति हो गई है. कांग्रेस में इनके में किसी तरीके से मान मनोबल हुआ, अब सीटें जो है हो गई. लेकिन अब समाजवादी पार्टी तो 2 लोगों को सिंबल देकर भेज दे रही है मुरादाबाद. वहां पर जो है कौन रहेगा? एसटी हसन साहब सुबह सिंबल लेकर पर्चा भर रहे हैं पहले से, और आज जो है रुचि वीरा ने भर दिया, वो भी सिंबल लेकर. अंत में बेचारे एसटी हसन साहब को वापस जाना पड़ा. उधर रामपुर में भी. और ये कहानी कहां शुरू होती है? आजम खान जी के जेल से वो नाराजगी जो अखिलेश यादव जी उनको मनाने गए, लेकिन आजम खान जी नहीं माने. पीडीए जो बनाया है उसमें से एक खिसक गया. ए फॉर आजम, ए फॉर अल्पसंख्यक खिसक गया. और आजम खान जी का विरोध भारतीय जनता पार्टी के 80 सीटों के लिए बहुत शानदार जीत के तरफ और बढ़ गया, जो शायद एक आध सीट इनको मिल जाती, लेकिन अब 80 सीट भारतीय जनता पार्टी को मिलेगी। अब आता हूं मैं वरुण जी की बात पर। देखिए, भारतीय जनता पार्टी में बहुत सी चीजें होती हैं। लोकतंत्र है, आंतरिक लोकतंत्र है। वरुण गांधी जी को टिकट नहीं मिला, 3 बार हमारे सांसद रहे, हमारे वरिष्ठ नेता हैं। उन्होंने कहीं कुछ कहा? उन्होंने तो ये कहा कि मैं सुल्तानपुर में प्रचार करूंगा। 2-2 टिकट तो नहीं मिला ना? या उन्होंने कोई ऐसा नहीं कहा ना कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी का मैं विरोध करता हूं, या भारतीय जनता पार्टी का ने हम हमारे साथ टिकट नहीं देकर अन्याय किया है। आज आपने इन 2 लोगों का, एसटी हसन नदवी साहब, मतलब रामपुर और मुरादाबाद को ही देख लीजिए तो किस तरीके से तलवार और वो चले हैं इनके यहाँ। तो ये आज यही पूरे देश में हो रहा है। इंडिया अलायंस के साथ ममता बनर्जी, उधर नीतीश जी तो हमारे साथ ही आ गए। पंजाब में आम आदमी पार्टी एक साथ नहीं लड़ रही है, ये भी दिखाई दे रहा है। स्थितियां विपरीत हैं इन लोगों के। और आज हर जो इंडिया अलायंस का सदस्य है वो इसी एड की तरह विक्षिप्त और आज अपने जो है आत्मा को कचोट रहा है कि कैसे हम लोगों ने ये कर लिया। क्योंकि किसी की चीजें मनसा पूरी नहीं होती है। सब लोग प्रधानमंत्री बनना चाहेंगे, सीटें कोई नहीं जीतना चाहेगा। कांग्रेस में तो अब ये तो राहुल गांधी जी को वायनाड से वहां के लोगों ने कह दिया था कि आप वायनाड से मत लड़िए, यहां तक कहा गया था।
आप ये नहीं बताए वेरी ब्रीफली, बिकॉज संदीप घनश्याम एंड राहुल आर वेटिंग, बहुत संक्षेप में, वरुण जी को टिकट क्यों नहीं मिली? वरुण जी को टिकट क्यों नहीं मिली?
ये पार्टी का अंदरूनी मामला है। वरुण जी को टिकट नहीं मिलना और मिलना ये पार्टी तय करेगी। हमारे 8-9 लोगों को टिकट नहीं मिला है, आपने उस पर सवाल नहीं किया। वरुण जी को क्यों नहीं टिकट मिला, अब ये मीडिया और इंडिया अलायंस के लोग नहीं तय करेंगे, ये भारतीय जनता पार्टी का पार्लियामेंट्री बोर्ड ही तय करेगा।
Okay, a lot to talk about. Ghanshyam Tiwari, first to you. It seems like after the hiccups, yours is the only party that actually managed to reach a kind of workable alliance on the ground at a state level. आप बाकी कहीं भी देखिए, बंगाल में देखिए, महाराष्ट्र में देखिए, Kerala में देखिए, there is a problem for the coalition, right? Are you disappointed today as an opposition leader? How do you keep the morale up? Because the fact of the matter is, your coalition started with such pomp and show. नाम भी कुछ लोगों ने कहा क्लेवर है, इतना क्लेवर कि बीजेपी वाले आपको इंडिया अलायंस कहते हैं, इंडिया अलायंस कहते भी नहीं। लेकिन कहां गया वो सपना इंडिया अलायंस का?
नमस्कार बरखा, आपको, दर्शकों और को पैनलिस्ट को। मैं सोच रहा हूं कि कहां से शुरू करूं, क्योंकि अभी तक जो बहस हो रही है मुझे एक क्रूर मजाक लग रहा है। मैं अभी लंदन और जर्मनी में था, जहां पर मैं सबसे कह रहा था कि हम दुनिया के सबसे बड़े लोकतंत्र हैं। लोग मुझसे कह रहे थे कि हम दुनिया के सबसे बीमार लोकतंत्र हैं, जहां पर एक सिटिंग मुख्यमंत्री को उठा लिया जाता है, जहां पर स्वयं प्रधानमंत्री के घर के सामने चोरी के दस्तावेज दिखाई दे रहे हैं, जो सारी सरकार एक शेर है, भीड़ में आगे खड़े कुछ लोग नंगे हो गए हैं और कुछ पिछली कतारों में खड़े शर्मा रहे हैं। ये पूरी सरकार नंगी खड़ी है। ये कह रहे थे कि लड़का दूल्हा वगैरह वगैरह। ये भारतीय जनता पार्टी जो एक दूल्हे के साथ इस मैदान में उतरी है, इसको दहेज कौन दे रहा है? किसी ने इलेक्टोरल बॉन्ड देखा है? 13,000 करोड़ का दहेज जो भारतीय जनता पार्टी को दिया है, किसने दिया है? क्या यहाँ पर कोई भी तहसीन से लेकर के सभी लोग यहाँ पर विद्वान लोग हैं, उस 13 करोड़ में से 1 करोड़ भी भारतीय जनता पार्टी को क्यों दिया गया बता सकते हैं? ऐसी कंपनी जिसने कभी प्रॉफिट नहीं कमाया, वो भारतीय जनता पार्टी को 100 करोड़ देती है। जिसका ड्रग टेस्ट फेल हो जाता है, भारतीय जनता पार्टी को 100 करोड़ देती है। जिसने वैक्सीन बनाई, जो वैक्सीन लोगों की जान बचा रही थी, वो भारतीय जनता पार्टी को करोड़ रुपए देती है। जो पार्टी जो है इस तरीके के चोर, उचक्के, डकैतों से पार्टी चंदा लेती, नीचे मत टोके, आपने किसी को नहीं टोका। हम कह रहे हैं हमारा लोकतंत्र बहुत मजबूत लोकतंत्र है, और हम कह रहे हैं कि इनकी ताकत है। आप कह रहे हैं मैं किस चीज से डिसअपॉइंटेड हूं? आई एम डिसअपॉइंटेड दैट इन दिस डिबेट सो फार वी आर नॉट इवन टॉकिंग अबाउट इट। वी आर लाफिंग एट अ फूलिश propaganda laid out by BJP, where this is a party that has so far, they gave ticket to Pawan Singh. What is his claim? He abused every single woman in Bengal. They gave ticket to Manoj Tiwari, abusing every single woman in India. They gave ticket to Ravi Kishan, abusing every single woman in India. They give ticket to Solanki. They give ticket to Rawat from Barabanki. What are their claim to fame? Look at their viral videos. The party that has become shameless is today the poster boy of a future democracy, the largest democracy of India. This is disappointing. It does not matter whether in Maharashtra the alliance partners are coming together, not coming together. People will decide. This alliance has stood together. They stood together in the rally. It does not matter. We did not give ticket to people who have abused every single woman in India. Did we? How many candidates
can I ask a question?
Yes,
Can I ask
Please
a
do.
question? मैं आपको कहना चाह रही थी कि इलेक्टोरल बॉन्ड्स पर मैंने मल्टीपल प्रोग्राम्स किए हैं, कल भी एक किया, आप प्लीज उसको देखिए, लेकिन मैं सिर्फ एक सवाल पूछ रही थी कि जहां तक इलेक्टोरल बॉन्ड्स का सवाल है, सारी पार्टीज लगभग सारी पार्टीज
गलत।
एक
ये
मिनट
सारी पार्टी
एक
बोलने
मिनट
वाले लोग झूठ
एक
बोलते हैं।
एक
सारी पार्टी
एक
बोलने
एक
वाले लोग झूठ बोलते हैं। जहां पर एक पार्टी कोर्ट में खड़े होकर कह रही थी कि नागरिकों का अधिकार नहीं है ये जानने का कि उसको चंदा कौन दे रहा है, जो पार्टी समूचे 13,000 करोड़, बरखा यहां कोई एक रुपए का हिसाब नहीं दे सकता कि 13,000 करोड़ भारतीय जनता पार्टी को क्यों चाहिए, जब वो सरकारी संसाधनों पर अपने अभियान करते हैं। प्रधानमंत्री क्या पैसे देकर के अभियान करते हैं? सरकारी संसाधनों पर अभियान करने वाली पार्टी, लोगों को धमकाने वाली पार्टी, लोगों को वसूली करने वाली पार्टी, हम कैसे लोकतंत्र हैं कि एक सरकार 13,000 करोड़ पार्टी के रूप में वसूल करती है और वो कोर्ट में खड़े होकर बेशर्मों की तरह कहती है कि जनता को जानने का अधिकार नहीं है, और कहते हैं चुनाव जीतेंगे, 400 पार हो जाएंगे। हमें अगर आपके प्रोग्राम का कोई इंट्रोडक्शन सुने और उसमें इंडिया को हटा के रशिया कह दे, तो रशिया में भी यही हाल है। ऑपोजिशन जेल में है, किसी को मार दिया। इन्होंने भारत को एक तानाशाही तंत्र में बनाने का पूरा स्कीम कर दिया है। इनका पूर्व मंत्री कहता है कि हम संविधान दोबारा लिखेंगे। इन्हें शर्म आनी चाहिए कि बहस के खेल में ये आ जाते हैं। अभी इन्हें बहस करना ही नहीं चाहिए। जब आप तानाशाही बनाना चाहते हैं तो आप बहस करने क्यों आते हैं?
ओके, मेरे जो फॉलो अप है मैं आपसे थोड़ी देर में पूछूंगी. I'll just give Sandeep and Rahul a chance to come in, and Aishwari, I know you also have a rebuttal. Sandeep, Ghanshyam is saying कि हम ट्रिवियलाइज कर रहे हैं, हम मुद्दों को ट्रिवियलाइज कर रहे हैं इस एड को डिस्कस करके, कोलिशन के आंकड़ों को डिस्कस करके. The only story that matters right now is electoral bonds, in which the BJP has got a disproportionately high percentage of the bond money. सवाल तो ये जरूर खड़ा होता है legitimately that the entire case on which Arvind Kejriwal has been put away, and I make no claims to understanding whether he's guilty or innocent, the court will decide that. It is being based in part on an accused turning an approval. We all know now about Aurobindo Pharma, Sharath Reddy of Hyderabad. Aurobindo Pharma, this man was arrested. He then buys bonds for the BJP. He then later gives 22 crores for the BJP after he turns an approval. इन्होंने in all 55 crores दिए हैं BJP को. Now the opposition is saying this is a subversion of fair play, and you all are sitting here laughing about a political ad. What do you say, Sandeep Ghosh?
You've done, yeah, Barkha, if you want to go back to electoral bonds, then this whole debate will be derailed, but let me make 2 or 3 quick comments. Electoral bonds has several, aspects. One part was the legality of it, constitutionality of it, on which the Supreme Court has dealt with. Second part, when you're talking about who has given money to whom, this I would say to some extent is cherry picking. Because, if you really look, all these nexuses have been established in very, very tenuous way. There is places where a particular company was threatened by the local goons to vacate that state. They have paid off. Ultimately, when it's established, people initially said, no, they paid to BJP, but it was established that they paid to the local party. I don't want to name the party. It is an humongous amount. I can have an explanation that, why Serum Institute paid. If Serum Institute did a business here by which the BJP party prevented Pfizer and all, despite their so much of lobbying to come in, and Serum Institute had done it and have made money over there, and if they have, to whatever reason, those are separate points to justify. If you were to talk about the percentage of money, do you know there are 3 original electoral trusts which were formed by the Tatas, the Bajajas, and I think Wipro? What was the formulation by which they donated money? They donated money on the basis of vote share. So if you go by vote share principle, BJP has got a share. If you take what BJP has got and what the rest of the people have got, they've actually got more. And that's been the argument that BJP is not a majority. BJP is 40% and everybody is 60%, and that's how the money has gone. So I think we should not detract from there. Let's stick to the point of what you're saying about the coalition and what these things show. Any partnership, Barkha, rests on 2 principles. Either 2 plus 2 has to make 5, or there has to be a legitimate quid pro quo. Now, you might say in UP, the partnership had a basis because Samajwadi Party realistically can win X number of seats, and certain seats they could not win. If Congress has a better chance of winning there, say a Raebareli or a Amethi, they can give it away to Congress and make them, a fair game of it. But in West Bengal, what does Congress bring into the table? If Mamata Banerjee gave away 5 seats to Congress, all those 5 seats Congress would have lost. In the process, Mamata Banerjee would have brought down her tally and India Alliance's tally by that many number of seats. So it does not make sense for her to give away that seat just for the sake of an alliance. So there is no basis over there. So you cannot be doing that. So therefore, this ad, though personally, if you ask me, I think it's quite OTT, and I'm not too sure, how far you go by carrying satire to that level. I personally don't take, but it has got very strong messages.
Why do you find it personally to OTT?
OTT because I think the satire, some of it is very personalized. You could have made the same points more subtly, but again, that's a cinematography. I can't comment on the director's bit, but if you were to look at it, it makes some very telling points. The Dulha who is sitting in the center, what is the Dulha is only talking in terms of entitlement. And they're very, very clear. Mera dadi ne title di, inhone di, they're just talking on basis of entitlement. Somewhere else, exactly the point Tehseen made, they're saying the other party that you don't even have, आज का दुकान में आपका नाम भी नहीं है, फिर भी आप दुकान चला रहे हो, गए बार आप किसी और का बारात में दूल्हा बन के चले गए थे, अभी तो आपका नाम पे नहीं है. So those are points, are extremely telling points people are making everywhere. So those are real. So, Ghanshyamji is talking about standing on the same stage. People stood on the same stage we saw in 2014, 2019, and again doing. That doesn't make a difference. You remember the kind of show which was made in Karnataka swearing in at that point in time, and then again people at that point in time, Chandrababu Naidu was trying to stitch in Sharad Pawar. They came to Calcutta, made a grand show of it. This time again, they did it in Bangalore, they did it in Bombay. Ultimately, a proof of the pudding is in the eating, but at the end of the day, if your whole thing doesn't stand together. So the essential problem here is, Barkha, there was no agenda. Agenda is only defeat Modi, defeat BJP. With that, you cannot go beyond it. And a last point, therefore, that's why I'm disappointed even with BJP. BJP, to some extent, they are trivializing the entire election by these kind of campaign. Because even they, in 2019, they actually had strong messages, har ghar pe, gas, yahan pe bijli, yahan pe. Today, those have become secondary. They're now talking about this kind of, if you see the today's ad, in which they're talking about English and, actually making fun, that's another level of ridicule. So I think the election is becoming quite non-serious, if you ask me.
That's interesting. That's why I always say you support the government with caveats, or you support the prime minister, I should say, not the government. Rahul Dev, Ghanshyam got very upset कि हम क्या discuss करें, लेकिन हम electoral bonds भी बहुत discuss कर चुके हैं. Point ये है कि मुद्दा चुनावी मुद्दा इस चुनाव का क्या है? Sandeep Ghosh, as a supporter of the Prime Minister, says the entire election has become something trivial. But actually, there are serious issues. There are two chief ministers. Hemant Soren resigned before he was taken into custody. Arvind Kejriwal, the first sitting chief minister in India, who's now talking about wanting to run a government from jail. The opposition has a, tutti-frutti kind of coalition. That is the phrase, with respect to Ghanshyam and Tehseen, that I would use. Without anything binding it. And the BJP is having a good laugh. I mean, what is the central core of this campaign? Rahul Dev.
Barkha, you might recall that in our earlier discussions on the same issue, I had pointed out 4 sort of pillars of any political fight, like a general election or a state election. There are 2 armies. Unless there is some sort of parity in 4 dimensions: leadership, organization, agenda or policies, or a narrative. What are you offering to the people? And the last is resources. Let's forget the sort of intrinsically structural problems that this alliance, India alliance, was facing with since the beginning. It was a coalition of so many parties with very different ideas about India, different performances, different cultures, different egos, and different agendas. There were structural issues involved. It was expected that over these last few months, they will come out of those, they will paper over or sort out their differences, come out with a singular message, a clear-cut message, which would be an alternative, present an alternative to the BJP. They would also have some clarity to offer to the electorate about leadership. Leadership is one thing one can understand. Okay, we have decided to settle this issue after the elections. It's understandable. But apart from that, you have to have some parity. You have to match the other party, your rival, in resources, in cohesion, in a singular, in a clear-cut message, which is not disunited, which is not disintegrated, which is not sort of hodgepodge, and a clear message. All the four, in all the four dimensions, the India alliance, unfortunately, has not been able to meet the expectations it generated.
Yeah.
And every day we get one news or the other from this state, some state or the other, where the alliance seems to be disintegrating or weakening, at least, to be very mild, to put it very mildly. So
Yes.
how does this generate confidence in the electorate? What are you offering? What are you offering? What is your
that?
I mean,
That is the central question.
Unless that is resolved, and secondly, you are faced with putting up a challenge to an unusual historic phenomenon called Narendra Modi. He is not simply a prime minister. He's become much more. He's become bigger than the party. He's become almost he is perceived by some people in divine dimensions.
It almost seems, Ghansham and then Tehseen. Ghansham, very briefly, you had an interjection here, Tehseen. It almost seems as if you decided to sit out this election. Ki is bari hamara number nahi hai. Ghansham ji?
I think I again go back to the Russia example. That Putin is also divine by that logic. That in this room with such experienced people, if nobody is seeing that this is not a level playing field. I was in Berlin, I was in London, and I was saying that India is the largest democracy. We have 1 billion voters. They said, you don't have an election commissioner. We are going into an election. We don't have an election commissioner. And is this a level playing field? A party gets 13,000 crore defended by Sandeep Ghosh here. What is the logic that Serum Institute should pay money to BJP? Sandeep Ghosh, can you explain the logic? You don't have a logic. You escape the logic. So there's no logic, first of all. This is not a level playing field.
But what about the opposition getting money from the same entities? Maybe not from Serum Institute, which is actually the least, in my opinion, the least contentious is the Serum Institute. When a lottery king, एक मिनट खनिशा, लॉटरी किंग इंडिया का वो 509 करोड़ डीएमके को देता है, which is a part of the India alliance. The principle is the same. No, you can't say कि principle सिर्फ बीजेपी की गलत है. हमारे लोग जो पैसे लेते हैं वो ठीक है.
First of all, the point is level playing field. First of all, I did not interrupt anyway. Just one single point.
Just correcting a point.
Just allow me one.
Okay,
one single point. One single point. There's only one party in India that created this scheme, that went from court to court to stand and said citizens in India don't have the right to know. There's only one party.
Okay.
So there is only one criminal in the town. Let us not do any whataboutery about it.
Okay.
And that criminal was nailed by the Supreme Court.
Okay, Tehseen,
and the SBI chairman has not resigned.
Okay, Tehseen and then Ashwini and then Sandeep. Tehseen, somehow we've gone into the direction of bonds, and Ghansham's argument is that is the story. The story is not this ad. The story is not this number crunching that you all are doing. This is not a level playing field. Today, India has summoned, since we're talking about global opinion, India has summoned an American diplomat for their comments on Arvind Kejriwal. Those comments have come after Germany's comments. Those are the pictures of the US diplomat appearing at the foreign ministry. Tehseen, go ahead. Tehseen Poonawalla, can we unmute you?
So this is not what a mature, strong, powerful democracy should do. Summon diplomats this way. People will make comments. That's how the nature of politics is. We live in a global world. Germany and America are our partners. We are partners with them, and they will comment on situations. That's what democracies do. I'm appalled that this was done. India also has its own issues with regards to Panoon, and we have to realize that America handled that extremely well unlike Trudeau and how immaturely Trudeau handled the other issue. America handled Panoon very, very maturely. We cannot afford to goof up with America and screw up. So that is, I'm not for this. Yes, I agree with Ghanshyam. The issue is electoral bonds. I agree. It's not a level playing field. I completely agree. But how do we blame? How long are we going to blame the media for it? Who stopped us from making ads? Who stopped us from making from exposing India Alliance, from exposing the electoral bonds? Did anyone stop us? See, this alliance in September, I was there in Mumbai at High. They formed that media committee. What did they do since then? Show me one press release that's come out together. The only press release that came out is boycotting anchors. It's not a level playing field, but we don't hold on to what we have. It's easy to abuse serum. There's a friend of mine, let me put that caveat out, so is Cyrus. But is Adar and Cyrus honestly BJP people? Those who live in Pune know. It's not. I mean, why are we making it personal with people who are good to us? Are we really going to make it personal with Adar now? I'm asking this question. Adar should have got an award along with his father. The government took credit for it. He got nothing. He got nothing. And on top of it, the guy is poor fellow gone to London. Now we're making an enemy out of it. So I am saying we have to identify who our political enemies are. And in this fight, we have to fight strategically. I agree, there's a lot of passion. It is important BJP is defeated. The bullying. A chief minister is in jail on the statement of somebody who's given electoral bonds, whose company's given electoral bonds. The two accused, who the ED said are money launderers, one is out on a back pain, the other is out after giving electoral bonds. It's shameful. But who's going to raise these issues? Are we going to raise? Let me ask you one last thing before I end. And I've again said this. 146 odd opposition MPs were kicked out of parliament. 146 odd. Just imagine the situation if there were BJP MPs who were kicked out 146. Or imagine if I was leader of opposition and 146 MPs were kicked out. What would I do? What did the opposition do? The opposition maro the chakkar around Jantar Mantar. That's the problem. I am saying do something so it's covered. Karo. We cannot keep fighting with the media. The media is not our enemy. It's a medium. Yesterday, one last thing. Everybody abused a few journalists, few anchors, boycotted. Yesterday, TMC came on those anchors' show. TMC also patched up. So who are we left with? And those who are we left with, we go and we fight with them.
Yeah. I'm glad you made the point about Adar Poonawalla, because with respect, Ghanshyam ji, there's much to talk about in the electoral bonds, but I do think that Adar Poonawalla took risks as someone who reported COVID extensively to bring out a vaccine, and did a lot that actually the country owes him for. That's my personal opinion. I never really speak for an industrialist, but as someone who reported COVID, I wanted to put that on record as my own impression. Ashwini ji, आप बोलना चाह रहे थे. Sorry, Ghanshyam, we'll come back to your last comments. Ashwini ji, Ashwini Shahi.
जी बरखा जी, देखिए आज जो है विपक्ष का मैं बहुत स्पष्ट रूप से मानूंगा, जैसे घनश्याम तिवारी जी हैं, समाजवादी पार्टी के प्रवक्ता हैं, इन लोगों ने हार मान लिया है, क्योंकि आज का जो आपका हेडलाइन था, जिस पर आपने आज बहस रखा, उस पर वो बोलने की बात नहीं कर रहे थे, वो इलेक्टरल बॉन्ड पर लेकर जा रहे थे। मैं घनश्याम जी को इलेक्टरल बॉन्ड पर थोड़ी सी जो है नसीहत देना चाहूंगा। घनश्याम जी, 2014 के बाद जब भी अरुण जेटली जी ये लेकर आए, कम से कम आज आप बोलने लायक हैसियत में हैं कि आप बोल रहे हैं आधार पूनावाला ने दिया, फलाने ने दिया, ढेमके ने दिया। उसके पहले जो बोरे में आता था आप लोगों के यहाँ, उसका हिसाब कौन रखता था? नहीं आता था। आप लोग चोरी नहीं करते थे। ये कम से कम आज आप कह सकते हैं कि भाजपा ने इतना लिया। और दूसरा एक लाइन इन्होंने कहा बरखा जी कि भाजपा को कैसे मिल सकता है, और एक पार्टी ही है जो है लुटेरा है, बाकी लोगों ने जो लिया उनको क्यों मिला? मान लीजिए, आपकी बात में एक क्षण के लिए मान लेता हूं कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी सरकार में है और उसने फायदा दिया होगा किसी को, आपके कहने के हिसाब से, तो वो 1300, 1400, 1500 करोड़ जो मिला है लोगों को, कांग्रेस ने क्या फायदा दिया है? बताइए जरा हमको, किस फायदे के एवज में वो चंदा मिला है? अरे धन्य कहिए, ये सौभाग्य है देश का कि कम से कम जो चंदा मिल रहा है आज कागजों पर तो आया है, कि चाहे उसकी बात वो अलग है, जांच का विषय कि 1 रुपया किसने दिया, 100 रुपया किसने दिया, किसकी औकात थी दिया, किसकी औकात नहीं थी उसने दिया। लेकिन जो लोग आज लेते थे, जो पीछे से लेते थे बोरे में 14 के पहले से, कहां थे आप लोग? आवाज उठाई, आपके मुंह में दही जमा हुआ था। समाजवादी पार्टी नहीं, बरखा जी, मैं कहता हूँ समाजवादी पार्टी यहाँ बैठकर जो है, आज जो भारतीय जनता पार्टी के सांसद हैं, शालीमार ग्रुप है लखनऊ में, वो कितना चंदा देती थी इनको? बताएं, मुलायम सिंह के बेटे के साथ उसका पार्टनरशिप था कि नहीं था? कहीं था कागजों में आप लोगों के? समाजवादी पार्टी कौन से बंगले दिए थे समाजवादी पार्टी को? एक अध्यापक, ये नहीं बरखा जी, देखिए इन्होंने बहुत ही एक जो है चुभने वाली चीज बोली है, तो इसका लिए जवाब मुझे देना ही पड़ेगा, क्योंकि मैं कह रहा हूं एक अध्यापक थे मुलायम सिंह यादव जी, कहां से आई करोड़ों की संपत्ति? न्यूक्लियर डील में जो है, जब आप लोगों ने सरकार बचाने की बात की थी, क्या समझौता हुआ था? कौन सी डील की थी आप लोगों ने? आप लोग कम से कम ये सोचिए कि मैं बहुत ज्यादा नहीं कहते हुए ये कहना चाहता हूं कि ट्रांसपेरेंसी की बात अरुण जेटली साहब ने भी की थी और आज भी ट्रांसपेरेंसी है, तब आप बोलने की हैसियत में है और हम सुनने के उसमें हैं जी।
Okay, we must move on. Sandeep, Rahul, and then I'll come to you, Ghanshyam, very quickly. Sandeep, we have gone in multiple directions. I understand that the opposition does see the dots between the two stories. They don't see them as unconnected. And there is a genuine debate to be had about political financing. But you yourself said election non-serious ban gaya hai. There's no, what are we talking about anymore?
That's the problem, Barkha. I think, the opposition is not realizing so far. I thought it's Congress who's more bothered about what being spoken in Cambridge or in the US. I was a bit disappointed. I thought Samajwadi Party is much more rooted to the ground. And Ghanshyamji is talking about what he heard in England and Germany. The problem is, you see, the people on the ground, their biggest idea of democracy is not whether there is an election commissioner or not, whether they are able to go and cast their vote. Today, they are able to go and cast their vote. Earlier, they would not be able to go in certain states anywhere close to the polling booth because it was the thugs and the gundas who took over. And they would never. So for them today, that is the exercise of democracy, that they can go and they have actually changed governments against existing incumbents who may have been ruling at that point in time. For them, that is democracy. For them, what is law and order? It's not a question of rich getting richer, but if they are able to sell, have their lands protected, if they are able to sell their land, rather than again mafia coming and taking over their land and not having the control, for them that is governance. We made in our ivory towers talk of ABCD people becoming rich, becoming richer. What does the ordinary political worker have in comparison to their leaders? The kind of money, I'm not getting into from which source, whatever.
Okay.
What does of any party? So this is the disconnect. If they constantly go on talking about what America has said, what England has said, Germany has said, you're not addressing this fact. People have thrown you out because earlier that was a state of law and order in those states. And that is the whole big difference. And that is what democracy is all about. If people are able to go and cast their vote in Bihar and other states, it is that they see as democracy, not that earlier they would not be able to come.
To be fair, most people understand the meaning of democracy in those terms, but democracy is and should be also about what happens between elections. ये मैं अपनी तरफ से बोल रही हूँ. But you raise an important point about why Ghanshyam Tiwari is interested कि Cambridge में क्या बोल रही है या Germany में क्या बोल रही है. In a moment we'll hear from him. Rahul Dev, is this election already a done and dusted? मतलब इस election में कोई वो कहते हैं ना match walkover है. Is this a walkover?
It is increasingly looking like so, unfortunately. And there are so many issues to talk about. The opposition has such a wide palette of issues to take up. There are so many serious issues, including the nature of democracy that we have today and the future of democracy in India. And Ghanshyam Tiwari is right that we are becoming more and more authoritarian. We are heading towards a very authoritarian rule. And there are very dangerous signs. The democratic, even statutory institutions are under attack and are being subverted. And most importantly, so far as at least for me, is this whole question of communalism and division of society between Hindus and Muslims, and the sort of Hinduization, or call it what you want, of a very large number of Hindus who have been made to perceive Muslims and the minorities as enemies. And we are seeing the small or big explosions all over. these are the real big issues that opposition should be talking about, should be taking up. And there are so many instances, specific instances, which can be taken up. But unfortunately, as I said earlier, there is no cohesion. There are no collective thinking. There's no collective sort of brainstorming as to what are we going to say to the people. What are the issues that we want to...
And Rahul, sometimes a democracy debate can get very esoteric. You have to make the democracy debate in a language which makes sense to people. रोजमर्रा की जिंदगी में. घनश्याम जी, why do you care कि India, Germany क्या बोल रही है? Very quickly, we have 2 minutes left. Why do you care?
Three quick points. I think the problem with dictators is people publicly worship their statues and privately fear about their shadows. I look at Sandeep's argument, saying that it does not matter who the election commission is. People want to exercise. It's not a game that you go and put your vote on a machine. It has to be counted. There has to be integrity in that machine. That's point number one. I didn't mention Aadhar Poonawalla. This is a question that somebody who's doing good for India, this is a party that can take money from them also, extort money from them also. What is the logic? The man ran away. So a party that extracts money, extorts money from everybody, and here Ashwini can say whatever he wishes to say. But I said 13,000 crore. He spoke about Mulayam Singh ji being a school teacher. The prime minister. Allow me to complete. The prime minister today is the politician who wears the most expensive clothes, travels in the most expensive cars, have the most expensive pens.
उनकी प्रॉपर्टी के बारे में आप बात करेंगे, कपड़ा पहनने के बारे में या खाने के बारे में बात नहीं करेंगे किसी से. आप उनकी प्रॉपर्टी के बारे में बात करेंगे. मुलायम सिंह यादव की प्रॉपर्टी, अखिलेश यादव की प्रॉपर्टी, और माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने गुजरात में सब दान कर दिया अपना जब आए थे. इन लोगों ने क्या किया? नहीं, घनश्याम जी गलत बात बोलेंगे तो इंटरप्ट करना पड़ेगा भाई. ये तो मैं इंटरप्ट करता नहीं हूं मैं.
13,000
लेकिन आप कपड़ा पहनने पर किसी के उनको सैलरी नहीं मिलती है. कपड़ा पहन रहे हैं.
13,000
उनका एक बंगला दिखा दीजिए मुझे. जो विक्रमादित्य मार्ग पर जो बंगले बने हैं वो मुलायम सिंह यादव जी गेहूं बेच कर लाए.
अच्छा, एक मिनट घनश्याम जी.
Okay, make your final point. इस शो में कोई नहीं बता सकता कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी को 13,000 करोड़ का चंदा जो उनको पिछले 30 साल में नहीं मिला, वो पिछले 7, 8 साल, 10 साल में क्यों मिला. Final point about what Germany and London and other places are saying. We go out and tell the world that we are the largest democracy. When the world looks at the newspapers and says that you are becoming a sick democracy, and BJP gloats over it, the question must be asked. If it makes BJP comfortable, let them be comfortable. But we cannot have an election where the husband of the finance minister is saying that this is the greatest scam that India has faced. This is what BJP has given. The greatest scam that India has faced in 70 years. And this is not a walkover. If it is a walkover, it is walkover towards dictatorship, not towards win of BJP.
I want to take one.
I have a point, Barkha, here.
Yes.
If you refer to husbands, I think it's in very bad taste. And that itself shows that the family, if there can be a difference between a husband, whatever their relationship, husband and a wife.
What was that ad about?
That is
what was the ad? What was the ad
no,
started?
No, don't get into husband-wife. You can say.
What was the ad? What was the ad about husband, wife, mother, and son?
You can talk about.
You started that debate with the BJP.
Ad is different. You are saying husband of
Acha, one at a time. Acha, Ghansham, let him respond now.
In that case, talk about Aditi Singh talked about her ex-husband being caused to say something against her. You know, those things, let's not get into those issues. Aadhar Poonawalla did not run away.
You can defend the electoral ban, electoral bond, but it is a scam that people are talking about.
Okay, please, 1 minute, 1 minute.
No, 1 minute. These parties fought elections without any money. Forget BJP, other parties. What is the amount these people have shown earlier in terms of their collection? Even the regional parties in the states. And that's the point Ashwini ji was saying. People talk of Megha, but people forget they have not cherry picking. They don't figure out Western UP Power is also Megha's company, which is the biggest donation to Congress. So let's not get into that. Let's stick to the facts. Let's not deflect. And by this kind of deflection, the opposition is reducing itself. You'll find Congress's number this year. My bet is it'll be lower than what they got even last time.
Okay, I'm going to give Ashwini Shahi the last word. I just wanted to also come in on this point of Aadhar Poonawalla fleeing the country, which I think needs a clarification. He didn't flee the country. He did give an interview to Financial Times at the height of COVID, talking about pressure that he was under, getting phone calls that often went unpleasant. Yeah, I think we should be a little accurate.
And
I just
also,
feel very...
and Kiran
Yeah.
Majumdar-Shaw was pulled up saying Biocon has given money. She clarified, it is my personal money I have given.
Correct.
On the principle I meant I would like transparent donations. I have given through bonds. People extrapolate and say Biocon has given money. These
Yes,
are the level of ridiculousness people are getting into. I can anytime say that X has given money for this or that.
Okay. We have
Barkha
to
ji,
close.
Barkha ji,
Ashwini.
Barkha ji.
In your show, the former election commissioner explained, if I'm not mistaken, that what is the role of election commissioner? He said, we don't do anything. The machinery is so well. We just sit and drink tea in the... she said that on your program.
Okay.
Let us not...
Barkha ji,
That
Barkha
was not on the bonds per se, but okay, go ahead.
No, on election commission.
मेदांता बरखा जी मेदांता ने अगर भाजपा को दिया 230 करोड़ तो 125 करोड़ कांग्रेस को दिया। कांग्रेस ने क्या फायदा दिया ये तो कांग्रेस को देश को बताना चाहिए। समाजवादी पार्टी उस लायक नहीं थी तो समाजवादी पार्टी को थोड़ा सा मिला, आम आदमी पार्टी को थोड़ा सा मिला, इनको भी मिला है, इनको भी 70-75 करोड़ कुछ मिला है। कहां से मिला है, क्या फायदा पहुंचाया इन लोगों ने, अपने बारे में भी तो बताएं, कम से कम कुछ तो बताएं। ये एक परिपाटी रही है, आज से नहीं। भामाशाह जब से थे उनको इतिहास में हम लोग पढ़ते हैं, भामाशाह भी दिया करते थे लोगों को। लेकिन आज देश को खुश होना चाहिए कि ये हिसाब किताब है कि किसने किसको कितना दिया, आप उस पर हिसाब सवाल कर सकते हैं। ये मुख्य मुद्दा जो है, अपने बारे में भी सोचिए घनश्याम जी, दूसरे के ऊपर उंगली उठाने का मतलब आज देखिए इसीलिए चर्चा नहीं हो रही है कि 272 सीट भाजपा पाएगी कि नहीं पाएगी। आज 400 पार का हो रहा है चर्चा, 400 पार का चर्चा हो रहा है। ये घोटाला है तो आप कहिए ना आपके, अरे कांग्रेस से कहिए ना 1600 करोड़ वापस करें।
अच्छा प्लीज The point is, there is a lot to unpack in the electoral bonds, but every party other than the communists have taken money via the bonds. That is the bottom line. दूसरी बात है कि ये नहीं कि जिन लोगों ने देश के लिए काम किया उनको हम vilify करें. I believe Adar Poonawalla deserved highest acknowledgement of the country for what he did during COVID. These are my two submissions. Baki the debate continues. We leave it there. Ashwini Shahi, Rahul Dev, Sandeep Ghosh, and Ghanshyam Tiwari, and earlier to Tehseen. It was a lively debate, and these debates show कि जो घनश्याम कि हमारी डेमोक्रेटिक एपेटाइट अभी भी काफी रोबस्ट है. थैंक यू सो मच फॉर बीइंग पार्ट ऑफ आवर प्रोग्राम एंड टू आवर ऑडियंस, सी यू सून. थैंक यू फॉर वाचिंग. Mojo Story has always made a commitment to its viewers to go to where the story is. And as you can see here, we are at the epicenter of the Israel war on Gaza. We are right at the front line, about 1 mile from the Gaza Strip, as the Israeli military gets ready with its tanks and its gunners to begin its final frontal assault that will take troops into Gaza. As we said, we are not like other organizations. We believe in giving you all sides of the story objectively and as much as possible from the ground. And that's exactly what we're doing here, covering the biggest global story today from the epicenter of the war zone. So please, we need your support. Support us, become a Mojo member, subscribe to us, spread the word, and thank you for your support.